Good evening, tubers in the U domain. It is I, Darth Cobain 17 again, and right after my Leafs report, I have more stuff. I've been a busy boy, getting more stuff read and watched and played and yada yada. So a number of things today. The first we will start with, as you may have noticed, outside of Star Wars books, I tend to buy most of my books from the young reader section, I guess, which is kind of embarrassing, but also kind of awesome because, I don't know, I find adult fiction is kind of boring and unimaginative compared to what you find written for kids. I find the stories so much more creative and magical and interesting and page-turning. This current book falls within that. It's the third book in the Map to Everywhere series called Shadows of the Lost Sun. And in it are two heroes, Meryl and Finn, along with the wizard Ardent and the captain of the enterprising Kraken ship that they sail on, Cole, as well as Meryl's babysitter Remy, have just turned aside the latest threat to the magical pirate stream that they sail on. They've turned away the evil wizard Surth and the Iron Tide, which was both are trying to destroy the pirate stream. But one problem remains is the captain of the Iron Ship, the master of the Iron Ship, an evil wizard who is also dead set on destroying the pirate stream. He's still out there somewhere, and they don't know where, and they don't know how to stop him. One thing Ardent is sure of, though, is that the master is one of the remaining wizards of Mary's, of which there are only two left. So their next step is to go and meet these two wizards and determine which one it is. That way they'll have a better chance of knowing how to engage this master. The only problem is, as they're embarking on this journey and going to new strange lands and doing new strange things, a couple of things happen. The master catches up to them. He frees the lost son of Xanon, which is due to prophecy, is set to wipe out the entire pirate stream. And the lost son fills up Surt's body, and he takes off towards the font of creation where all the magical waters of the pirate stream kind of flow from. And he is going there to destroy it and wipe out the entire pirate stream and everybody within it forever and ever. So our heroes have to go, oh, how are we going to stop him now? So they then go on a chase to do two things. First, as Surth is destroying the pirate stream, they can see it on the map to everywhere. The map is being erased in representation to where he's going and what he's destroying. So Ardent thinks that if they find magical parchment and magical ink, he can repair the map and even trap Surth inside of it somehow and stop it from happening. But in order to get those two things, they have to go to two other places and go on two other adventures to get these items in order to try that. So it's all, from then on, it's a race for them to get these items, and then for Ardent to go to the font and try and repair everything. And along the way, Finn, adding to the whole thing, Finn is pursued by these people who end up being his family. So he finally discovers more about his mother and his family and his people and his history there, which he's wanted so badly. But does he really want to know the truth? That's the thing, right? So it's another... this series is so good and so page-turning that I just flew through it. And I know there's at least one more book coming. There's a fourth one coming out sometime in the future, so I don't know how many more it's supposed to go, but I'm going to gobble them up like crazy when they do. The next couple of things was I've been listening to a couple of albums lately. The first one is the very first Megadeth CD called Killing is My Business, and Business is Good. So this is where the Megadeth train started back in 1985 or something like that. Something like that. It doesn't say because this is a reissue, but yeah, back in the mid-80s, Megadeth is one of the big four: Slayer, Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, the four thrash / heavy metal bands that back in the day began that whole genre of music. And of those 4 bands, Megadeth is my favorite. I love Dave Mustaine. I think he's amazing, and I love the music that him and whoever's in the band at the time create. But I just, the other day, or a number of months ago, I was like, God, I wonder if Megadeth has some recent CDs out. And then I went back and I realized my Megadeth collection had so many holes in it. So I just started going and buying all the ones I was missing. And somehow I was missing the first one. But anyways, it's very raw. But it's got all the trademark Megadeth instances in it, like these fast, heavy, energy-inducing riffs that just grabbed you. Guy! And of course his snarling voice, it's even more primal on this first CD, and then of course the heavy drums, double bass thrown in here and there. It's just heavy metal at its most primal, and it's an amazing disc. There's only 8 songs on it, and one of them's a cover of Nancy Sinatra's "These Boots Are Made for Walking," which I guess came with some controversy because the songwriter that wrote that song did not appreciate their version with the changed lyrics, and so that CD's actually got like a lot of beeps on it and stuff, so it's not the original. But anyways, great CD. The other one I've been listening to in heavy rotation also is Greta Van Fleet, From the Fires. When I first heard, I think it was Safari Song or Highway Tune, I don't remember which one, but when I first heard it on the radio, I was like, is this like an unreleased Zeppelin track from the 70s or some shit? Because his voice, a lot of the time, is just like a dead ringer for Robert Plant. I was like, I need to Google these guys, and when I did, they were like the last thing I expected to see, this young band that looked so different from Zeppelin. But everything in their music is, and I've read that Zeppelin was a huge influence for them, but you can tell even without reading that everything about them, they're not ripping Zeppelin off or anything, but you can tell that they're a huge influence. They're very, in this time of weird music, you don't get too many bands like this that are just classic kind of guitar driven rock. So it's very refreshing to hear, and I could not stop listening to that CD. And it's got all the trademark things, very earthy guitars, and even some organs and stuff thrown in like when Zeppelin does that from time to time. It's an unbelievable CD. And when I Googled them and I started reading about them, the funnier thing that I even found out is that they're from Frankenmuth, Michigan, which it's like, whoa, this tiny little Christmas village produced this huge mega band now, right? Like, it's just, I did not expect that to be like one of the last places on earth I thought a huge band would come from. So I thought that was pretty funny when we read that, because my wife really likes to go there and visit the big Christmas store and all that stuff. So highly recommend the Greta Van Fleet. Next, I went to Giant Tiger a number of months ago, and they had like so many different Power Rangers series on DVD for like $9, and I just started scooping them up, and so I've been on a bit of a Power Rangers jag that I've just started up. I don't have the original series yet because there's 3 seasons and some of them are broken up into different volumes, so I'm trying to piece those together, but I've got a fair number of the ones that came afterwards, and I think so it went Power Rangers, Alien Force or something like that, then Neo or Zeo or whatever, and then the 4th Rangers series, Power Rangers Turbo, was actually kicked off with this movie that was in theaters a long time ago, 1997 or something, called Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. So the story on that is that there's this wizard named Larigo who is off on this strange planet, and he's trying to escape and flee. Because this alien named Divatox, who looks like a normal Earth woman, although she is not, and she has a fantastic rack, FYI. I highly recommend watching the movie, if not only for that. But she's chasing him because he is the only person or being in the galaxy who can access the Nemesis Triangle, which is a gateway portal to this volcanic island that holds this monstrous beast named Malagor. And what Divatox wants is to wed this Malagor and together combine their evil forces to take over the world. So back in Angel Grove, where the Power Rangers always hail from, the Rangers are going about their everyday business. Three of them are training for a martial arts competition. Adam, Billy, or no, Tommy. Adam, Tommy, and Rocky. When Rocky hurts himself really badly, and so the five Power Rangers, which the other two are the girls, Kat and Tanya. Yeah, so many Rangers names in my head. And they're off taking care of some orphanage kids and stuff like that when this happens. So suddenly the five Rangers are down to four with Rocky's injury, and but Zordon and Alpha 5 soon call them in to let them know about Larigo and his flight from Divatox, and he soon ends up on Earth. So Tommy and Kat go out to retrieve him and bring him back to Angel Grove, and then soon the nature of the situation is revealed to them, and things take a turn when Divatox reveals that she has taken Larigo's wife and child hostage and will do very bad things to them if he doesn't turn himself into her. And she also takes two of the original Power Rangers hostage as sacrifices to Wake Malagor, which are the original Red Ranger, Jason, and the original Pink Ranger, Kimberly. And I am a big fan of Kim. That was one of my main reasons, other than I love the Power Rangers TV show, but I loved watching Kim because she was so super duper hot and so fun to watch as well. A great actor. So the Rangers have all this reason to pursue Divatox and get all their friends back. But in another twist, Larigo turns himself into Divatox willingly because he doesn't want anything to happen to his family. So suddenly the Power Rangers, who add a mysterious young fifth member to replace Rocky to their crew, have to chase Divatox through the Nemesis storm to this island and confront Malagor. And the only way they'll possibly be able to beat him is if they can combine their Zords into the Megazord and take the beast down. So yeah, so that's that movie, and that led directly into that next Power Rangers series, which was the Power Rangers Turbo. So it just started with this movie. So the last thing is a video game for the PS3, the original Borderlands. I got this game for cheap at Game Cycle used, like I do a lot of my games now. I'm not really... I've played a number of first-person shooters over the years, and I do like them, but they're not my favorite. I'm normally a sports, racing, platform. I'm more of the retro style, although I do like a lot of the new games. But the first-person shooter kind of usually aren't my biggest cup of tea, but I do enjoy them from time to time. And I had a really slow start on that game, but then over the last couple months, once I got into it and I realized, how it all worked, I just couldn't stop playing it every morning before work. Because I get up early normally, I would do my exercises and then get the lunches ready, and then I would sit there for an hour and play Borderlands every morning, and then not to mention at night when I got home. So I tore through it a lot faster than I thought I would. The story behind it is that you take control of kind of a mercenary or something like that on this planet called Pandora. And it's a harsh, evil place full of bandits who kill people and all other sorts of nasty things. These giant bugs, and it's disgusting. But the reason people go there is because there is this fabled vault that's supposed to exist somewhere on Pandora that is full of an alien treasure trove. So whoever finds this vault will be not only rich, but super famous. So that's what draws people there, and that's why you are there. So you start off in this small little community called Firestone, where you meet the local doctor. He sends you out to meet some people, do some jobs for him. And then as you go along, you meet more and more people, you do more and more things for people, and then they give back more to you. So eventually you kind of piece everything out, how you need to get into the vault, the keys, obtaining the keys and stuff, until eventually you do find the vault and finally open it. And along the way as well, you upgrade your character's level, so you get more powerful, and you also, all along the way, you can pick up new shields, weapons, mods to your person that add special effects and elemental effects and stuff like that. So as you go along in the game, things get harder, but you also get a lot tougher. And yeah, it was just like I said, it was a slow start. I didn't really know how everything worked, and it was fun, but you know, I didn't really understand a lot about it. But as soon as I sat down and had a couple really long sessions in a row, and I figured out, oh, okay, this is how you do that, this is how you do that, I just couldn't stop. And I highly recommend the game to everybody. And it's really neat visually too, because it's like, it looks real, like everything looks real and crisp and stuff, but it's got this cartoonish kind of, it's a really weird artsy visual style. Everything looks real, but it's got this cartoony coating to it or something. I don't know. I don't know what they call that style, but it's definitely different visually, and it works. It's amazing. And I know that there's a second Borderlands game, which I do have in my pile right now, and I think there's even a third one that's like a prequel or something like that. So I'll definitely beat the second one at some point in the future, and then if it's as good as the first one, I'll probably even manage to go out and find the prequel at some point. But for now, that's it. That's a lot of stuff, and I'm working on a lot more stuff. So I will be back with more Leafs updates, more books and games and trains and planes and automobiles, all the stuff I love. But for now, stay warm, and we will see you soon.